Okay, so welcome to the first episode of Tea, Gin and Learning. Luke, would you like to give a bit of an explanation about the name?
Yeah, happily. I won't claim any credit. This is all from Victoria Lindbergh. So we are calling ourselves Tea, Gin and Learning as a play on words from teaching and learning, because we think it's really important that everyone who comes on to speak on this podcast starts by telling us what their preferred drink is. Is it tea or is it gin? So I'm going to start with you, Abby. Tea or gin?
Gin.
Any reason, or is that just I can see your face? So.
Yeah, just, there's nothing better, is there? Especially, I suppose, just putting it into context, it is just before Christmas and I am ready for a nice gin and tonic on Thursday at the end of term. I am ready for it.
Straight after Ken's speech.
Yeah,
Gin
that's
and tonic.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
And we should probably do a bit of an introduction because we've just gone straight into the podcast. So do you want to just explain sort of who you are and why we're doing the podcast?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm Luke Zwalf, Head of Teaching and Learning at York College. And the point of this really is to try and embrace all things teaching and learning, get to speak to people from around the college and externally about teaching and learning, and with a view really to support people and help develop people with their teaching and learning. I think sometimes teachers are the forgotten part of society, and we want to do something to try and encourage more support for teachers and helping to develop them.
Okay, so today's episode is just going to be a reduced one. Normally there will be, the good 3 hours long, but today won't be as long as that.
At least 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Abby, you need to introduce yourself.
Oh, okay, so yeah, probably, because nobody knows who I am. They probably know who you are. So my name's Abby. I started in the college in September as the Head of Digital Innovation, and I've just been really enjoying getting to know everyone, and the idea is to develop digital skills just as a whole across the college. So that's the whole purpose of this role. So
brilliant, including us doing this.
Including us doing this, yeah.
Obviously, this is the first run through. We've never done this before. This is spot on, first time, first go. Everything correct?
Yeah.
We're fine.
There'll be no mistakes.
No mistakes at all.
None. Something I wanted to just give us a bit of a go is I've just got a couple of questions, Luke, that I thought we could ask just to get to know people. But we'll start with you. So
excellent, love it.
I'm going to do some it's a quick fire round this. So I've got 10 questions. So it's going to be either or. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
Quick fire.
Yeah, okay.
Not much thinking.
Okay.
Right, okay. So, question 1. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Books or movies?
Movies.
Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Movies or TV shows?
Movies.
Summer or winter?
Both. Winter.
Ooh. Cities or countryside?
Countryside.
Morning or evening?
Morning. Sweet
or savoury?
Savoury.
Concerts or sports events?
Oh, come on. Both sports just.
Oh, very good. Some difficult ones there.
Really tricky.
To be honest, at the start I thought you were just going to go for the second one all the time.
Yeah, Well, that was my initial plan. Yeah.
And then I've just got a couple more interesting questions just to give a bit more detail on these.
Good.
So,
love it.
First one is, how did you get into teaching?
Blimey. So I didn't come into teaching straight out of uni or anything like that. So I was about 6 years out of uni before I decided to go into teaching. So I'd done various other things. I'd initially got a job on these fast track civil service jobs, and I applied thinking, brilliant, I'm going to be working in the Foreign Office in some far-flung land, doing my little bit of a James Bond role, and they put me in the Inland Revenue in Woking. So I managed to survive 2 years doing that, and then went travelling, spent 2 years away, and then whilst I was away I was doing various bits in advertising. And when I came back, I went into advertising and very quickly realised that it was not for me. Just too, you've got to be fairly selfish, and it's all about money. It's all driven by money. And I was missing my subject, I think, more than anything. So I did a history and politics degree, and I was missing that. And my best mate had just started teaching, and that kind of convinced me that that was the route. So came back to York. Having been at York for uni, and then came back up to York, did my PGCE, and started teaching 22 years ago.
Wow.
I know, you can't tell looking at me, but yeah, 22 years. I look like I've been teaching for 42.
Well, where'd you go travelling?
So I started in Canada, then New Zealand, Australia, and Southeast Asia.
Very nice. Next question, not as deep as that. What's the strangest thing that you've got on your desk or in the cupboard around your desk? What's the strangest thing?
Do you know the answer to this? Is that why you're asking?
I don't. It's your
What's the strangest thing around my desk? God, I've got an American football.
Okay.
Probably a bit strange. Is it?
Well,
on my desk. Yeah.
I suppose it's how many American footballs is on everybody else's desk in the
So I've got an American football on my desk, which is signed by all the students. We went on a trip to Washington about 8 years ago.
Oh.
And we bought it. And then when we came back, me and a mate used to finish our days teaching with throwing the ball around in the classroom that we've shared.
Yeah, I can tell you've been teaching a while. There's no time for that now.
Yeah, I know. There's not a chance now.
Perfect. The next one is if you one thing that you can't teach without.
God, that's a great question. One thing I can't teach without. What do I always have with me? Water.
That sounds like you're talking too much, Luke.
Well, I am. Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah, I've always got to take a bottle of water with me to every lesson. Yeah, because obviously, I wouldn't take an open coffee or anything like that. So I'll take a bottle of water. Yeah.
Perfect. And then last one from me from this is: what's your favourite subject to teach? Or topic?
Topic. Yeah, US politics. Absolutely. It's just the subject that just keeps giving and giving, and there's always something I know, because I know you would feel the same way, because you've popped into some of my lessons because you're interested in the topic, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been a bit enthused recently.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely US politics. It's just particularly sort of current affairs.
Okay. Just to point out that we've done this again, and I'm actually getting a call on Teams as we're doing this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's
I
perfect.
can't hear it, so it's,
yeah.
Okay.
I can hear it, but unfortunately, so everybody else can probably hear that too.
Brilliant. Well, it's working. It's a working podcast, isn't it?
Yeah. Oops.
I love that.
Moving on very swiftly. So just to thank you for sharing those. I think they'd be interesting. Hopefully we'll be able to ask some more people if we ever get any guests that agree to come
I look
on.
forward to that.
Maybe we'll ask them the same questions.
I'm going to ask you next time.
Okay. Well, So the next bit is then just wanted to catch up about what's sort of been happening over the last few weeks. I know the communities of practice have been taking place. Could you give us a bit of an insight into how they've been getting on and what's been happening with those?
Absolutely, yeah. So communities of practice, we launched the idea of the communities of practice for this year in our training day on October 25th, just before half term. And the premise, if you like, is to try and get people working together on just one thing. Always have a little smile in my voice when I say that, but because I love it, and it keeps coming up. It's so perfect. And again, not going to claim credit. That was Victoria Lindbergh. She can claim credit for that one. But we are keen for everyone to do just one thing differently, new. Try it out in their teaching, their planning, whatever it might be. And so we launched the communities of practice under some umbrella headings. So we had things like AI in education, ed tech, which I know you're leading on, Abby. Send behaviour and leveraging high grades. And within those umbrella areas, we asked people to come up with a community of practice, an area that they wanted to work on. So we had a variety of different subjects and people coming together into their little communities of practice. Some of those communities of practice are literally just one or two people, but some of them are far bigger. I know in digital we've got a group of about 7 who are working on something specific to do with AI and gamification, particularly around coding. So David McNaughton is leading on that, and they're working together on that. We've got some groups on leveraging high grades, which are looking at specifics of exam skills. It might be evaluative writing or something like that. But we're after everyone having just one thing. So we've launched all of these across a couple of sessions in the last 2 weeks. So hopefully people either were there or they were able to speak to someone who was there. And the plan from here is that people get together, they work in their communities of practice to develop that just one thing with a view to trying it out between now and Easter, ideally even getting into each other's lessons to have a look at it being used, or meeting up outside of lessons to discuss it. And then by Easter time, we want people to share with us what their just one thing is. My plan is that the Festival of Learning, which I know we're going to talk about in a future podcast, will be even bigger and better this year, with more of people from inside college sharing their ideas and things that they're using. And if everyone is doing just one thing differently, then we can look at sharing those ideas across the college so that we can all benefit from that.
Mm. And with the coming together in like those small groups, I think when I was in the EdTech sessions, one of the things I noticed from there was like how everybody coming together and just having those conversations just about teaching and learning, and that opportunity that the communities of practice opened up around that to share practice. Is that something you've noticed as well?
Absolutely, and I think far too often in teaching we work in these little silos, or we just end up just coming in, doing our planning, going straight into a lesson, and we're sort of not really sharing ideas and working with other people. Some of the best things that happen in teaching happen in the staff room, where we're sharing those ideas and we're talking through some of the things we're trying out, and you pick up something. And I think all of us as teachers, we're kind of like magpies. I know I am. One of the joys of my job is being able to go and watch other people teach, because I'm constantly stealing little bits of ideas and taking them back to my lessons. And I think far too often we end up sitting on our own, being on our own, going in, doing things on our own, and not sharing and not working together. And the hope is that these communities of practice encourage that sense of community and people working together and developing ideas, developing skills, and just looking to support each other and develop our practice. I think as I've sort of mentioned at the beginning, I've done various other careers, and I think the thing about teaching is that you're never the finished article. There's always something. You can always keep improving. Students are always changing. The environment you're teaching is always changing. So as a consequence, we need to constantly be adapting and changing. And the best way of finding out how to do that is talking with others, is chatting with other teachers and sharing ideas.
And the idea is it's April time, is that right?
Yeah, so around Easter we want people to start sharing those ideas with us. We'll get back together. We're going to have some more sessions between now and Easter. We've got a training day in February, straight after half term, so we'll discuss more then. And we definitely want people to be sharing their just one thing. Hang on, could I? And various other puns. Sharing those ideas with us so that we can then share that across the college, and hopefully support people as much as possible with developing their practice.
Super. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem. Pleasure.
Okay. So we'll just pause in a second, because Luke's going to ask me now some questions.
Yes, go on.
Around some of the tips for using AI. That's where we're going.
That's why you're looking at me. Yes.
I tried to do all of that with some facial expressions
that was
to go.
Perfect.
Luke, you ask me now.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask Abby some questions now about the use of AI. So Abby, tell us about what you've been doing, your team. I know you work with Sarah Hargreaves and John Jackson, who most of you I'm sure will know or have worked with at some stage over the course of your time working at York College. So tell me about some of the stuff you're doing regarding AI and the use of AI in education.
So there's a couple of things. So one of the things that you'll notice that's gone onto the SharePoint page is a link to Design, which is a function on PowerPoint, which I just think is just such an easy tool to make your PowerPoints a little bit more interactive. One of the things that I think is really useful on there as a teaching aid is if you once you've set something up, if you've got a bit of a list, it will dual code that for you, which we know in terms of a teaching and learning theory, it's got that benefit. So it's doing the hard work for you. You're not needing to think about that. So if you're going to do a discussion, it'll put an image of a discussion on there. Plus, it also has some excellent images on there. So if you're interested in making your PowerPoint a little bit more interactive, if you're wanting to link it into dual coding, then obviously you can do by just going onto there, and it's in the top right hand corner. It just says Design, and you just click on there. But if you want any more information, obviously go to the SharePoint page or contact myself, John, or Sarah. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was just about Notebook LM. We've had a couple of teachers that are from a couple of different areas, but one of them is within some of the HE that have been looking at using Notebook LM. Now the benefit of it is that you can insert documents onto them, and you can get it to do frequently asked questions, you get it to summarise, you can get it to create handout sheets, you can get it to do lots of things on there. One of the things you can do is you can also get it to create you a podcast. So if you've got learners that might want to go back and listen to some information, you could put some documents in and allow them to listen back to that document on there. So there's some interesting stuff on there that you can do. So just as a little tip, those are some of the things that you can do. So if you want any information and guidance on those, then you can do.
I think I couldn't agree with you more. That both of those, I use that design element on my PowerPoints all the time, just to try and just make them look a bit sparkier than I can manage. But the Notebook LM, the podcast feature, is superb. It's absolutely brilliant. It's almost as good as this.
Almost.
Yeah, but it's really, really good. Before we finish, I've just got to correct something, because you asked me a question earlier, right at the beginning, about whether it's movies or books, and I said movies. And I know there are certain people in my life that go, Luke, that's not true. You know it's books. And certain people who'd be disappointed in me with that answer. So I'm going to correct that answer to books. So Alison Willis, if you're listening, I'm ever so sorry I said movies, I meant books.
First answer.
Thanks.
Only.
Yeah,
accepted.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? I like both, but yeah.
You reading any books at the moment?
Yeah. That's the end of that. Right. No, I am. I'm reading a book called War by, oh my God, I've forgotten his name. But it's US policy. You saw it on my desk.
Yeah,
recently,
riveting. Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely. Super. Well, all right, then we'll let it stand. I'll not take that out of the podcast. You can have it corrected.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, make yourself look
Sorry,
smart
Alison.
by leaving books in.
Yeah.
Super. So that's it, I think, for what we've got for today.
First podcast.
Yeah, just an introduction one in there. We'll have some other topics. Hopefully, some guests. Somebody will agree to come and sit with us, Luke. That'd be nice.
We'll find someone. Yeah, there must be someone somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll might have to pay them.
Yeah.
For the first tea one. Or gin.
Yeah, and then
hopefully tea.
And then they'll start paying us shortly.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Wait for those adverts to keep rolling in.
Yeah. So yeah, brilliant.
Wonderful.
Right.
Thanks
very much, everyone.
Cheers.
And bye. Special thanks to Kate White and Scott Langford for their technical and logistical support in creating the podcast. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, please get in contact with me, Abby Parkin, or Luke Zwalf, or if you'd like us to discuss any topics in future weeks, then please let us know.